Hey dumplings, it's Dave Decide. Today I want to get into Jimin and a few pictures of him crying and also what people believe to be his child. I also want to get into a few companies removing Jungkook's name and what happened there. So, hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab your dumplings, spilling my merch, and let's get into it. The first thing that I wanted to get into is Jungkook's name. This was definitely something that was shocking to me. So we all know the story behind Jungkook's iconic name, Mr. Alphabet. If you're watching this from the way future and are a new fan of BTS, you may not know that once upon a time, Jungkook's Instagram handle was the entire alphabet except for the letters J and K. And this was such an iconic thing that brands like McDonald's, Target, and Lyft went ahead and changed their username to fit the trend. I don't know how long they kept it for, as when would be the appropriate time to adjust the username without people being upset. Because then it appears like you no longer support the members or whatever. Like for example, if you had the Black Lives Matter profile picture with the black square, when is it appropriate to change it back to your face as the profile picture? Does it mean you don't support BLM anymore? These are the real questions that keep me up at night. But from the looks of it, I think the brands or companies changed their name and removed Jungkook's trendy name thing maybe quite a while ago. I think McDonald's removed it a while ago. And this was a username everyone thought was really clever. And even the other members thought it was cute and clever that Jungkook came up with this. I initially thought the problem was that every variation of what could or what would be Jungkook's username was already taken, and so he had no choice but to come up with something that was for sure not taken at all. And ain't nobody got time except for Jungkook to spell out the entire alphabet every time they're logging in. Joking, of course. But on this glorious day, ARMY woke up to even Jungkook himself removing his name and making his handle Jungkook97, which is his name and of course the year he was born. I am shocked this was not already taken and how he managed to get it. However, perhaps this could be why he chose the alphabet name to begin with. Maybe HYBE was working out a deal with someone to take their username and buy it from them or whatever. This is just a theory. I don't know if that's true, but it's a pretty common practice and a lot of celebrity fans will just give up the name without any money because they only made the account with that name to hold the name for the idol. But again, just theories. But that is what Jungkook goes by now on Instagram, Jungkook97. And likely he won't change this. Of course, ARMYs respected the decision, but they mourned the loss of the alphabet username. The old username even began trending, and I assume a lot of ARMYs who had adopted the name for their handles decided to change it back as well. And it was very weird looking at his account and not seeing the letters there. Of course, everyone was being super dramatic about it. I imagine Jungkook was sitting there having a good time laughing at everyone's reactions, as he obviously didn't think it was a big deal and did it very silently. He just changed it quietly overnight. And that is what BTS does best. They drop bombs overnight and kill us, and then we wake up dead. But this is all a part of being in the fandom. You have to have multiple lives. But I do think for branding and all that, Jungkook changing his name is definitely better for the long run. But also if he plans on releasing a solo and all that, having his real name there is definitely more beneficial. So a very smart move. Obviously do it now while not everything has kicked up yet, and then it sets the groundwork for when they do their comeback and everything explodes. There's lots of speculation going on with BTS just in their day-to-day life, and so many people talk about them that there's always a million and one conversations going on about every little thing. That of course is going to be hard to hear everything, and of course I don't cover even half the conversations happening. But there is one theory that any of the BTS members have a child. It was speculated that RM was married with a kid, and then more recently it was speculated that Jimin had a child and was hiding that from us. There is this particular topic that keeps popping up and going viral because every time it's just as shocking as the last time. There is this kid that is growing in popularity since his debut, and for many reasons. This kid is named Han Hao Lin, and by the way, Han Hao means very good in Chinese, but it's spelled differently, but his name sounds similar and is very cute. Han Hao debuted when he was 4, so he's about 12 or 13 now. And since his debut, the kid is the most talented child actor I've ever seen. He doesn't fall flat and his emotions are perfect. And there's tons of screenshots online of him in many dramas where you see his emotions, crying, screaming, and it's just amazing. It's just so good. He acts better than some adult actors. So of course a kid acting this good will go viral. If you are curious and want to watch, he is in the show called Heavenly Sword and Dragon Slaying Sabre, and I think this is the most popular one. Then there is another thing that people are talking about and went viral, which is the most obvious, and it's just the big elephant stinking up the room. He looks exactly like Jimin. Like if Jimin needed someone to play his child in a movie or whatever, get this kid. There has never in history of whatever been a more perfect fit to play the younger version of a person in a movie than this. Oftentimes the younger version of the main character in the movie throws me off. because they look nothing like each other. But Hanhao and Jimin, that's the same person. There's kids who look like adult celebrities, but if you look at the celebrity when they were a kid, sometimes the other kid doesn't look like the celebrity when the celebrity was younger. I don't know if that makes sense, but Hanhao looks like Jimin now and when Jimin was a kid. So people really think Hanhao is Jimin's kid, and Jimin had a kid and he's been hiding that. He debuted years ago. However, obviously the timeline doesn't match up. Jimin was definitely too young to have a kid in 2009, which was when Hanhao was born. I personally don't think Hanhao is Jimin's kid for more of a silly reason. It's just the fact that they look too identical. Like if Jimin got married or didn't, I don't know, and had a kid, the kid wouldn't just look like Jimin, right? There would be some essence of the mother or feature maybe, but Hanhao literally looks like Jimin's twin, where it doesn't feel like it was birth. It feels like Jimin just, if you know what mitosis is, just boop, another one. There was a lot of photos of Hanhao crying, and he had to do that in his drama, and they matched it up with tearful moments of Jimin crying, and the two just look so similar. As the kid's popularity grew, there seemed to be more people just shocked by how similar Hanhao and Jimin look. People want the two to take a picture next to each other. I just want to quickly say, because I was reading this, to say that the kid's popularity only grew because they look like Jimin is kind of not true. He is very talented and that for sure contributes. In my opinion, there are just very few bad actors in Korea and China because there is a very strict process, even more so than in America. And the entertainers go through years of training. Now, there ended up being so many people making jokes online about the two and this possibly being Jimin's child, and that there were armies that were Jimin's partner and that this kid is theirs and that everyone needs to respect their privacy. It just became such a big joke. But I am over here like, is there even a possibility that this is Jimin's child? Because how? I am definitely curious to see how this kid will grow up and what he will look like. There's definitely people fully convinced, like there is no doubt in their mind that BTS has children. While this is probably unlikely, as they would have only gotten the opportunity to have children pre-debut, and most of them were definitely too young to be thinking about children at that time. And how are you going to have a music career where they're gone 8 months out of the year touring and somehow raise a healthy child that knows who their father is? And if they had children now, there is no freaking way they'd be able to hide hospital visits and the actual birth from paparazzi or anything like that. The moment BTS gets admitted to the hospital, it would be in the news, I think. Other idols have done it successfully without being caught, but when BTS leaves their house, people are stalking them for sure. And this is also to assume that every single one of the staff members of the hospital or volunteer would never post anything about BTS in their hospital, because I think they would. But also then never appearing with another woman or partner and their kid on the street. I mean, that's something not even the queen would be able to hide. So it is definitely less likely. Aside from the tearful pictures online of Jimin and Hanhao and what the fans have said, Jimin has not addressed this guy and has not hired Hanhao to be a part of any music videos or performances. BTS has hired children to play smaller roles in their shows, and I think Hanhao could be on the list in the future for songs like Inner Child. This would be a perfect cast. Hopefully Hanhao is a fan, and I would imagine so. Likely the parents have seen the tweets and comments if he has not seen them himself, and maybe they're in touch with Hype or whatever it is. When something gets this big, there's definitely less chance it would be completely ignored, and I do believe we will see something. And Jimin's got all these youth and young tattoos. Maybe he's hinting something. You know what? I will take my delusional pill soon, but just let me enjoy the fantasy. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thank you to this lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.